All right, so we have a few questions. We're gonna start with this one here. Please, guys, write with pen, not pencils. I could barely see this. I'm an old man. I don't wear my glasses in public, but I do wear glasses. It says, if your father have you to break the Sabbath, ask you to break the Sabbath, do you break the commandments? Who can answer that question? Go ahead, Michael.
You gotta start with Exodus. You gotta start with Exodus 20
Matthew 10:37.
You didn't answer the question.
No, you're not supposed to break the Sabbath. You do break the Sabbath. If your father asks you to break it and you break it, you do break the Sabbath.
That's breaking the commandment? What scripture you got for that?
Matthew 10:37.
Doesn't the scripture say obey your parents?
Yes.
The rest? Okay, so let's read the law and then I'm going to let you answer the question.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
Verse 12.
Verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth.
You see, the scripture tells you, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long. So now the kid is asking, if his father asked him to break the Sabbath, is he breaking the commandment? Because the Lord just said to honor your father and your mother. So, help me.
I think it's.
You think? You're supposed to know or you don't know?
I know. It's according to Matthew 10:37.
Stand up straight, bro.
Matthew 10:37 says that.
Matthew 10:37. Let's read it.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 37. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me.
So explain that.
So, anytime your mother's or your parents' will conflicts with the will of the Most High, you have a problem. So you have to make a choice to obey God rather than obeying men. Whether it's your mother, your father, whether it was somebody that gave you all the riches of the world, you have to put God first.
All right, that's good. That's good. Let's go to the precept for the law in Ephesians. Because the law says, obey your parents that your days may be long. So does that mean any wickedness that your parent asks you to do, does that mean you have to do it? No, right? Like he quoted a good scripture. You have to obey your God more than you obey your parents. So let's get the precept for the law.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right.
Obey your parents in what?
In the Lord.
In the Lord. So as long as your parent is telling you to do what's right according to the law, you must obey. But at no time, if your parent asks you to break the Sabbath, should you break the Sabbath. Give me Acts 5:29. Because your parents does not supersede God. God is the ultimate Father. So we have to obey Him. Read.
The book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
You see that? We ought to obey God rather than men. So it's okay to obey your parents as long as they're not telling you to do anything contrary to the law. Because if your parents cook a nice plate of food and it's not unlawful on the Sabbath and say, baby, I know you're going to camp. I know you're hungry. I want you to strengthen yourself before you go. Make you a nice cup of tea. Give you a nice plate of lamb. You see that? Some nice lamb. And some good unleavened bread. She actually cooked your meal for you. What should you do? Would you eat it, Daniel? Why not? It's lamb. There's nothing wrong with it.
You're not supposed to eat it at all because she cooked it on the Sabbath day, and that's breaking the law. And by you eating it, you also break the law.
Exactly. So we can't trim our ways. Actually, give me that. Jeremiah 2:33.
Yeah.
Let's read that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou taught the wicked ones thy ways.
So see, that's the problem right there. You shouldn't trim your ways to seek love. Because by trimming your way to seek love, guess what? You just taught that wicked person you were just as wicked as them. So which means those people, they may never change their ways because of you. Because you're not enforcing the law when you're around them. You trim your ways to please them. So that shows that you're not about the truth as well. So instead of helping the soul, you actually destroy the soul. Because to help the soul, we must stand bold, correct? Give me Isaiah 58:1. Because we have to be that light. We have to be the light that people follow. And if your light is shining, then let it shine, correct? Before Isaiah 58, actually we'll go back to the light. Give me Isaiah 58:1 first.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and shew my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Cry aloud, spare not. That's the key part I want to focus on. Don't spare people's feelings. It's not about feelings, it's about keeping the laws of God. Our job is to show our people their transgression. Remember one thing, if you're in this truth and everybody in the world likes you, you're doing something wrong. Because if you are doing what's right and showing people their transgression, you're not going to be liked. Because the scripture says you shall be hated by everyone for my name's sake, correct? That's going to happen when you put your foot down. When you really stand firm for the laws. Give me the light in Matthew 5:20, is it?
14, 16.
16 or 17? That's no, 15.
16.
The book of
14.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid.
You see that? You are the light of the world. Because the laws was given to you. So as you keep these laws, you got to let your light shine. How do you let your light shine? By doing the laws. Not just in secret, not be super Israelite only on the Sabbath day, but on your day-to-day life. That's how you let your light shine. Read.
Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house.
That's your purpose of having the light. You're supposed to put that light on a candlestick so that everyone may see the light. What it says, read that verse again, that he may give light to everyone that is in the house. So if you're living in a house where everybody's wicked, they're supposed to be looking towards you and see light. But if you're trimming your ways to please them, you're not gonna save those souls. You're actually destroying those souls because you're scared of who you are. Read.
Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men.
Let your light shine where?
Before men.
Before men. So if your parent asks you to break the Sabbath, you got to stand up and rebuke them sharply. No, Mom, I can't do this because it's the Sabbath. According to the laws, that's why it says study to show yourself approved. You got to be able to back up everything. Now, if you're 12 years old, you ain't got nowhere to go, use wisdom. But start doing some, bagging at Kmart or something to start saving your money because you know that day's going to come. But if you're a grown woman or grown man who has a job and living with your parents and you're afraid to stand up, think again. Read.
Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven.
See your good works. If you're not doing nothing, how can they see it? And when they see it, they say they're going to glorify your Father that's in heaven. But if you're hiding, they're never going to glorify your Father that is in heaven. Because many a time people will test you just to see, are you really about the truth? Because you got to understand one thing. Our parents, they've seen a lot. They've seen many people that rose up and say they were that crew that's supposed to rescue the people, and they failed. Your parents were part of a lot of movements. Our parents were the Black Panthers. Our parents were that generation that was with Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Some of our parents were even with Marcus Garvey. They're that old. So they've been through it. Now, what makes you the one? So they're going to try you to see, are you really about this? Because to them, they watch you grow up, and they watch you going through many different phases in your life. You had your Jerry curl phase, you had your S curl phase, you had your perm phase, you had your weave phase, You understand? You have the color in your hair phase. So they're seeing you going through all those different phases. To them, this is just another phase. You got to show them how serious you are. And that might change them. But for as long as you're trimming your ways, you are destroying them and destroying yourself in the process. All right? We're going to move to the next question. You wanted to add to it?
No, it's good.
Oh, perfect timing for this question. Will I have blood on my hands if I don't tell my relatives that they are Israel? They are married and have children with Edom. A cousin who is gay and have a brother is marrying an Edomite in June. Okay, will I have blood on my hands if I don't tell my relative that they are Israel? Who's the mighty prophet that got the answer for this question? Yohanan, you got your spiritual hands up. I saw them waving like Steve Urkel. Ooh, 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 me. Will I have blood on my hands if I don't tell my relative that they are Israel? And make matters worse, they are married to and have children with Edom. That's
Yes.
2 in 1. You will have blood in your hand?
You will have blood in your hand.
Prove that. The scriptures that prove all things.
I don't have an answer for the first part of the question, but I do have an answer for the second part.
I asked for the second part. I mean the first part.
I don't have the first part.
Who has it?
Ezekiel 3:17.
My man. See, that's a man that's studying right there. All right, let's read that.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand.
You see that? We were made watchmen. Watchmen. When you analyze ancient times, you had the castles, you had the city, and you had the wall that encircled the whole city. And you had the battlement, and you had watchmen that sit at the towers, and watchmen that patrol back and forth on the walkway that's on top of the wall, watching through the battlements to see if danger is coming. So if a watchman is sitting there watching and they see danger coming and they don't say nothing, if the king of that land overcome the danger, what that king is going to do to that watchman after the war? He's going to kill that watchman. So yes, blood is in your hand if you don't warn the people that you know about the danger that's coming. Because that's what the scripture said. If you don't warn them, they're going to die, but their blood, Most High is going to require of your hand. So let's read the latter part to see how do you clean your hand.
Verse 19. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul.
You see that? But if you warn them, and they choose not to listen to you, you are free from blood. They're gonna die, but you are free. Because you warned them. They're the one that were rebellious enough to choose not to adhere to your warning. Is that clear? Let's dive to the second part of it. It says they are married and have children with Edom. Give me Deuteronomy 7:3 first. Oh, you had both? Come on, have both. Read it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So,
hold on. The scripture said we're not supposed to be married to other nations. And the main reason is because they're going to turn your heart away from serving God. Your kids will not serve God, because if you marry a Moabite, what is the common teaching that a Moabite might teach your kids? How to serve what? If you marry an East Indian, what is the common teaching they're going to teach that kid? Hinduism. So the thing is, you're not supposed to marry the other nations because they have their own way of doing things, they have their own culture, they have their own gods. We have our own God, and our God was not for them. So the warning was already given to us in the Bible not to marry the other nation. Not just Edom, no other nation, period. Let's, because why? That's going to destroy you eventually. Give me that in Tobit.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4, verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife.
You see that? Beware of all whoredom. It is whoredom when you go and marry, take a wife of another nation. That's whoredom and that's hatred. You hate your people. Why you can't marry your own people? Let me guess, your head is too nappy, right? You want that good hair that your cousin always have, and you was envious of it. Not knowing that pure wool that's on your head, that is the good hair. Because Christ had that pure wool. But you are raised to believe that you are inferior, and you look to other nations, so you always want to be like them or always want to be with them. The scripture called that whoredom. Read it from the top again.
Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred.
You see that? We have to follow after our forefathers who married wives of their own kindreds, because we have to keep our lineage going. We must love each other and marry amongst ourselves so that way we can grow to be that mighty nation.